Kurt, did you catch what I said so that I'm not making sure that I froze?
Yep, I heard everything you said. You're doing fine. Yep.
Okay. I'm having technical issues too. My phone's acting up pretty badly, so.
Okay, now I think we're back in. Back in session.
Technologies these days, I tell you.
I know, I tell you.
Yeah,
technology.
Yeah.
Good when it works, no, it doesn't. It's a big pain.
Yep.
But Jared, any thoughts for today, or should I start talking about our events again? Or Adam, do you have anything?
I'm pretty much, I mean, are we back on the live stream again?
We are.
Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna, I mean, once I'll have what I just said on the radio. So when we start thinking about embedding players, I might have, I might ask for permission to embed the player onto, because I'm not going to just repeat what I just said, because that was a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, it was good, but
perfectly okay if you don't want to repeat it. What do you have to say right now? What are you thinking?
Well, let's get your thoughts about the show, Emily. What has been your experience with the Compassionate Citizens podcast? What is it for you presently? You've been featured as our compassionate citizen, I think maybe about a month ago, and there's been a lot of people.
I think it's been more than a month. I think it's been at least a couple months. It was whenever you guys were, wherever you guys went to. I believe Central Wisconsin. I think that's when it was. This Central Wisconsin water skiing in June or July, sometime in the last couple months. But yeah, I think this is a great topic to be talking about. And we have had a lot of great people on here, great compassionate citizens, and hoping we can keep this continuing. If anybody is interested in being a guest on the podcast or interested in helping out in some way, please let me and Kurt know. I am usually doing the recording and live streaming of podcasts. But not always for the whole time. But that's what I have to say at the moment.
Yeah, I'm pretty much out as well. I mean, we don't, folks, we don't expect these technology hiccups, but that's usually what happens in live radio, and those are things that we cannot control. And I want to say I apologize to those watching the live stream at this time, because when you're doing live radio or live video streaming, you never know when you're going to get disconnected or how bad your internet connection is going to get. So we apologize for all the mishaps here.
And hopefully next week we'll have a little better go at it with technology. But so thank you for bearing with us through technology. It's good when it works. When it doesn't, it can be a pain. Right, Kurt? I know you've had a lot of technology issues before.
Well, you know, it's getting to be the pot calling the kettle black, you know, because you're having your share in the later weeks, aren't you?
Yep.
Well, with YouTube.
Yep.
Were you going to say something, Adam, or
just go ahead. No.
I don't know if I had anything. I just thought you were going to say something, but as I was sort of saying at the beginning, I didn't get through all of our events. I ended with that on November 6th, the Autism Society of South Central Wisconsin is having a autism conference. So if anybody is interested, please feel free to let me know. I'll get you more information. Then I missed October 12th, the Disability Channel is having a fundraiser. Their own fundraiser with a drone ball drop, which basically is putting 200 or up to 200 golf balls in a drone and jumping them on over a golf course. And the ball that either ends up in the hole or closest to the hole wins a grand prize. I think it's a trip somewhere and a couple other things I'm not thinking of at the moment. And it's $10 a ball.
$10 a wall?
A ball. BALL. And then
yeah, I was gonna say a wall doesn't make sense.
Drop a wall on the golf course. Yeah, that. But then on December 3rd, it is the International Day of People with Disabilities, and we are in the process of finding an event for that. Sure, do you want to give me more information about the UN Disability Day or anything surrounding that?
Well, the connection here is that our Chief Happiness Officer, Edwin Edaberry from the Happy Neighborhood Project, has had a longstanding connection to the United Nations. And so there's been annual events for what's in the spring as United Nations International Day of Happiness. And at the same time, other connections to the UN has emerged. The United Nations International Day for People with Disabilities. And so at the Happy Neighborhood Project, Emily is involved in, how the Happy Neighborhood Project Ability Group is all set and helping the co-host team and social media and things like that. And so we at the Happy Neighborhood Project are aiming to emerge the Happy Neighborhood Project HMP free happy business networking on Zoom as the happiest place on earth and the most inclusive place on earth for business people with disabilities. And so we are attending to, considering people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, the deaf community, blind community, people with physical disabilities. And I personally put a twist on it to add people with a mental health diagnosis, those with the goal of substance use reduction, and those living in chronic pain. So for me, it's a lot of social issues, social justice, social mission, social work, social enterprise. And so the United Nations International Day for People with Disabilities is going to be a few hours of activity, including a master class and some networking and some group activities and programs to be all about inclusion, accessibility, accommodation, and to really take a serious look at how the world looks through the lens and through the guise of people with disabilities. So I think it's aiming to be an exciting day. Edwin Anneberry, the Chief Happiness Officer, is going to be making some expressions and statements himself. We have our captain for HMP Ability, Denise Vargas, is going to be quite involved and a part of the leadership of what we're doing that day. And then we'll be aiming to share out what else is going on around the world, celebrating the United Nations International Day for People with Disabilities.
Awesome. Really awesome.
Right. We're hoping to get a good turnout for that. So anybody who's interested through that or any of our other events, tomorrow on the October 1st, October 12th, November 3rd. Please feel free to reach out to me and Kurt, and we will get you more information. Garrett, you want to say anything about this? Thursday is just talking about people with disabilities. On Thursday is the International Day of Sign Languages. And one of our co-hosts has a bit of a hearing loss. But Garrett, you want to say anything about that?
Well, that too is emerging from out of our efforts with HMP Ability. Again, when I refer to our co-host team, they are simply co-hosting a weekly meeting every Thursday at 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Central. And so that's roughly for the co-hosts about an hour of leading the Zoom time because they log in early ahead of the advertised meeting time. So at 1:57 East, I'm sorry, 1:57 Central, 2:57 Eastern, they log in and then they run the meeting until they close it out at 2:57 Central, 3:57 Eastern. And so it ends up being about a 55-minute script, roughly speaking. And so there won't be too much to do during that program because we follow that same programming, but we're just doing things sidebar from that networking meeting on Thursday to give honorable mention and attention and recognition to the United Nations International Day of Sign Languages. And Mariana Waikiki, Mariana Ambrose, she has been so kind and generous to get us started on sign language for the Happy Neighborhood Project and has been doing a handful of selected events, providing sign language interpretation during the Zoom meetings. So she's going to be doing the same again on Thursday. So great recognition for her and everybody around the world who are our sign language interpreters. And Marianne promotes sign languages as a solution for safe social distancing because you just have to be in ice, you have to just be within that visual of sign language, which you can be further away more naturally in sign language versus when you're talking. Sometimes you're inclined to maybe get closer depending on what setting you're in. But people who are communicating through sign language can stay several feet away. They could be 15 feet away from each other and have a perfectly fine conversation. So we're kind of promoting that as a great public health consideration. And then even in terms of it being a language, and looking at schools to promote to our educators and our school administrators and, directors and, everybody who influences our nation's education system. And it's the United Nations International Day of Sign Languages. So for educators around the world to think about, we teach foreign languages like English, French, Spanish, German, and whatever other languages. What about ASL, American Sign Language, or other sign language, as the language that children learn or youth learn in school or even at the college level. So that's pretty much the advocacy of the week, is to make sure everybody in the world is aware of the vital role that sign language plays in our lives.
I don't have anything else, Emily. You're muted again.
Not really doing anything else at the moment either. But Kurt and I do a few other podcasts besides this one on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. For Wednesdays at 3 o'clock Central for Eastern is Prosperity Pathways. That kind of focuses on employment related things. Fridays with Onward and Upward and nonprofit work, and Saturdays with the World of Ability and being about kinds of the disability community. Side of things. And anything else, Kurt, you want to say? Kind of running out of ideas.
I guess I'd be curious, more from you, Emily, in terms of kind of, until we ventured into this a year ago, this was not anything to do with your life. And, now you're live streaming like nobody's business, and you're doing a bunch on social media. You're connecting to great people like Marcus Hart and Jay Stoyan of the Disability Channel. You're involved with the Veterans Onward to Prosperity television shows. So what more can you tell us about the autobiography of you, Emily Gomer?
Well, Kurt, this all goes to you, dude. So I don't think, yes, I may have met Anna Maria before you. Just, what was it, like 5 or 6 months before you?
I wouldn't doubt it.
But everything that almost everything that's happened since I met you, you've been a part of, you've gotten me into. So this is all on you, dude. Because I never, I don't think if I would have never probably got to actually sort of leading a podcast, and probably would have never heard of the Happy Neighborhood Project and everybody I've met through there. So the last year and a half, has been good and hard at the same time. Yeah, obviously with COVID, and whatever, but also other things, but it's also been good to sort of gotten out of my, well, at least a little bit out of my comfort zone than when I was a year and a half ago or a year ago, whatever it has been. So thanks to Mr. Captain.
Kurt, there's one going on right now.
They're going to be opening it up in 5, 6, or 7 minutes, likely 7 minutes. It'd be 3:57 reception time, and then 4 o'clock they should start the introductions, and then it goes for like I said, about a 55-minute routine, a couple 20-minute breakout rooms to meet a few 4 or 5 people. And then there's a halftime show. You get your picture taken with the group photo on, and then a finale with the Happy Wheel. you might have a chance to be able to introduce your radio.co stuff if you get selected from the Happy Wheel that they spin, which is basically including all the participants of the meeting. They spin the wheel, and whoever gets chosen gets to make a 60-second announcement. So.
Okay, well, I don't have anything written down, so probably not for today, but probably for next time.
Okay.
What event are you talking about?
I was just
or something else.
Yeah, I was mentioning to Adam that basically in about 5 minutes, there's going to be a Zoom opening up for the Australia morning group because it's morning over there in Australia and it's afternoon, obviously, here in the US. So, so basically that's
they're going to be starting their newest Australian group like next week sometime. Their new Australian group, which is Europe. So anybody who's interested in Australia and networking in Australia, that might be a good thing to join into.
It's the Australia lunchtime because it'll be in the evening time here in the US on Monday evening. It'll be at 9 p.m. Central Time. And it's on Zoom, so people from all over the world are networking. The Australia connection is that's the co-host team is formed by Australians hosting the worldwide networking. That's free, happy business networking on Zoom.
Yep. Well, I think on this one, did we hit about an hour or what?
It'll be an hour and like 12 minutes.
Okay. Well,
or 11 minutes, something like that.
It's okay with me, Kurt, if you end up leaving. I have nothing else at the moment right now.
All right, so Emily, what I'm looking at is in about 4 minutes, I'll switch over to the H&P Australia group, and you can go through more calendar notes on, I don't know, repeating a little bit H&P ability, but our clubhouse event, our 12 o'clock shakedown, and the solidarity summit, and anything you want to show or give as a tour of prosperitypathways.com, onward and upward inc. Is it .org or .com? I have to think now. So I know the email address is at the .com, right?
Yeah, the website is .org.
Yeah, so onward and upward inc.org, and any social media references with the social media pages, Linktree, whatever you need to give as orientation and training for our audience in terms of everything that you put together at our fingertips to navigate the organizations of Onward and Upward and Prosperity Pathways and the Happy Neighborhood Project, the Shakedown Challenge, Mutual Aid Network, the Solidarity Summit.
My notes are right here. It's backwards.
The notes for, what is this?
I write, these are my notes down for when I go live.
Wow, what a concept. Having notes when we go live.
Yeah, it looked like a big paragraph of notes.
Well, if I ever go live on radio.co, it's a completely different layout. So I have to make sure I go word by script. I can't go off topic. So.
Well then.
So Emily, are you going to be joining the Australia H&P session after you close out the live streaming and recording?
Possibly, just for a few minutes. But are you going to do your ending or not?
Well, I don't know if it's much of an ending. I mean, my email address is Kurt, K-U-R-T, at the disabilitychannel.us. And my phone number to call and text me is 262-372-1SKI. It's 262-372-1754. And I invite people to check out worldofability.com/shows. And my understanding is you have about another 7-8 minutes for getting the ending section of this podcast, right?
Right.
All right. So remember, 12 o'clock shakedown, mutual aid network, solidarity summit, happy neighborhood project, onward and upward, prosperity pathways, website, social media, so much
I
stuff.
don't know if I'm going to be able to get all of that in like 5 minutes, but
Well, that's what I'm saying is you're not short of material. You'll be able to get another 5+ minutes in, easy peasy, wheezy, Louise, Emily, and Emily. That's our pet name for her, Adam, is an Emily. Like an anomaly, but it's an Emily.
Yeah.
Adam, what are we going to do with Kurt?
I've known him for multiple years. This is what Hope Instilled and I go through a lot of times. And by the time we get off the air, we just chuckle about it.
Well, Jory.
You haven't met him yet, have you?
Have no,
you?
I think I did. I did. I think I did once, briefly on a Zoom with you and Kurt once recently.
Yep.
But that's the only time I've had any contact with it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you can close it out whenever you want. I mean, you don't have to cram that in within 5 minutes.
Yeah, no.
Just don't push yourself, because if you push yourself, you'll get too overwhelmed. I've already done that. a couple weeks. I've already done that a couple times these past 2 weeks, trying to get the free trial up and running. So it's a lot. So just do what you can do, and we'll just go with what we have right now.
Okay. Well, I can. You don't necessarily have to stick around on this if you want to, but
okay.
I can send you the recording.
Yeah, if you can, I'll just pick out what I think is relevant, and then we'll have it on the air.
Okay.
So
sounds good. Okay, guys. So a few more minutes left here. We have a solidarity summit coming up this weekend, put on by the mutual aid network. If anybody is interested in that. Kurt and I also do what's called the 12 o'clock shakedown. It's led by, it was started and led by someone who lives in Madison, Wisconsin. And it's called 12 o'clock because it's 12 o'clock p.m. here in Madison, Wisconsin. And it's 15 minutes of music and motion. The leader, named Jim, plays 80s music, and has different moves for the to do during the songs, and it's put out over Facebook Live. We also do have it connected to a Zoom room, and after the 15 minutes, you're gonna have a social hangout for a little while afterwards. And you don't have to do the exact moves that Jim does, as whatever you can do and feels right for you. So you could be doing something totally different than Jim, but if you want to do what Jim does, that's great too. And if anyone is interested in joining us on the Zoom room and to stay for the social, please me and or Kurt know, and we will get you the link for that. And the websites for Prosperity Pathways and Onward and Upward are prosperitypathways.com and Onward Upward inc.org. Onward Upward inc.org. We are looking for our volunteers to help us, our volunteers for Onward and Upward, especially in the fundraising, marketing, sales, a little bit of social media realms. But if there's something else you'd like to, I'm just gonna work something out. But for sure, if you are interested and have experience with fundraising, recruiting, marketing, social media, event planning, to please get in touch with us at contact@onwardupwardinc.com, and we will get you started. And I think that's about it for right now. And until next time, onward and upward.